So in the last session of probability, we talked about fundamental counting principles, and we were introduced to the factorial function. Now we're going to pick up from there, and I'm still working from keyed notes from up here that I just think are exceptional in terms of how you can read them. And they'll be a great reference for you to push pause, look at the answers, make sure you can enter it into a calculator and get a corresponding value. So now with permutations, the topic we're tackling next in Mrs. M's Math to the Masses in a minute or two, the most important thing for you to know is it's an arrangement or lineup of objects in which order matters, highlighted, okay? When you look at how it's written, this notation NPR, in the calculator, the two I've referenced for this unit are the TI Inspire because it's provided by our campus for use, and lately it seems like the Desmos Scientific has been easy, and they both will work the same way. NPR is how you consider writing down, and here you'll see that if this is a permutation formula, we're really doing n factorial in the numerator over n minus r factorial in the denominator, where n is the total number of objects available, but r is the number of objects to use for the arrangement. So there is an important shortcut on the calculator. When you are doing this, you just end up putting in the two values they give you, and you can do n factorial. Or n factorial will give you the same as this. So we're giving you the very formal formula, but for basic permutations, this isn't a shortcut, and you'll see it in some examples. Now, if you're working with the TI Inspire, you have to go to Menu, touch the number 5, then the number 2, and you will see permutations. So let's try some examples together. In the first one, it says, how many ways can you arrange the letters in the word dinosaur? So you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The total number of objects n is 8. And how many options do you have? 8. So for permutations, you're considering 8p8. And when you put in the calculator, it's going to come up with the PR, and you'll have a parenthesis, and you'll just put 8, 8. But again, we said this would be the same as doing 8 factorial. So the answer you want to be able to get on your calculator working with permutations is 40,320. On the Desmos, if you will go to the function tab that has factorial, then you will also find permutations and combinations. Okay, so let's come down. The next example says you have 7 students and they're competing in a geography bee. How many ways can they finish in first, second, and third place? So the easy way factorial is if you have 7 students, there's 7 who can finish first, but after one finishes, then you can multiply times 6 left to choose from for second place, and after 2 have been placed, you only have 5 left to choose for third. So 7 times 6 times 5 will give you 210. But if you're using your permutations function on the calculator, when you pull it up, it opens parenthesis, and you'll put 7, 3, and you'll get 210. I'm going to pull up some more examples we can go through. But again, permutations is when order matters. So let's see if we can get these up here. Combinations will be a separate video. We'll talk about it in a minute. Not sure what happened there. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So Melanie is taking 4 classes this semester: American History, Algebra 2, AP English, and Chemistry. How many ways can these 4 classes be arranged on her schedule? So for permutations, there's 4, and all 4 have to be arranged. So when you put it in the calculator, you will get 24. And if you think about, that would also be 4 times 3 times 2. Of course, times 1 doesn't do anything. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 doubled is 24. So the factorial shortcut always works for permutations. Question 8. There are 16 players on the basketball team. How many ways can the coach make a 9-player batting order? Okay, so it's 16 to choose from at first. If you're using the calculator function, you touch your permutations, you open it up, and you put 16, 9. Hit enter, and you will get this value here. If you do the factorial method, you would start with 16 times 15 times 14, but you would only fill 9 positions. So after you've gotten to that point, your value would match. It's probably easier when the numbers are like this, where you're going to have all those ones you never touched, just to use your permutations function. Okay, for our next example, there are 28 students in Mr. Miller's homeroom. How many ways can the students elect a student council representative and alternate? Total students is 28, only 2 spots are being filled. 28, so hit your permutations, and the parentheses open up, put 28, comma 2, and you'll get 756. So those all were permutations, very straightforward. There's one other scenario we need to consider. You'll see on the left it's noting with repetition. So when I looked at these next examples, we're going to have a denominator. I'll pull it up so we can get larger. How many different 10-letter arrangements are possible using letters in the word automobile? And if you look at this, automobile has these 2 O's in it. So what you're saying is you have a total of 10 letters, and you're choosing 10 letters, but you do have something that repeats. It's the letter O, repeats itself. It's in there twice. So you're going to start with your permutations, 10, comma 10 in the calculator, but then you're going to divide that value by 2 factorial to account for the repeating. Put in your calculator and make sure you get 1,814,400. And you'll know you're using your calculator correctly. Another example here is how many different 9-letter arrangements are possible using the letter in the words disappear. Okay, so look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 total letters, and we're choosing 9 letters, but we have 2 P's and we have 2 A's. So when we do our permutations for the numerator, we touch the button and we put 9, comma 9. We then have to divide that value by 2 factorial, and your answer will be 90,720. Or you can set it all up just like it says here. You can go numerator is permutation 9, comma 9. Denominator is 2 factorial, and you'll get the same value. Next we'll do combinations.